Hey everybody out there, it's Beau from Beau'd Not Broken, and today I've got a soul brother with me today, and Chris Frame is here with me. He has been a firefighter for how long?
26 years.
26 years. I worked with him for, well, 16 years that I was in South Salt Lake, and the reason why I wanted to interview him today is because I will say it, there's a lot of bad stuff going on in the city of South Salt Lake, and there are, other than Chris, there are two other firefighters that have been, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I will say it, there are two other firefighters that have been let go or fired while on medical type leave, and while they're trying to take care of the issues that they have, as you know, and then one other one for some kind of a political craziness that went on. But as many of you know, when firefighters and cops are hurt in the line of duty, then they go through medical processes, and they can either come back or they don't come back. But it's usually at the doctor's care. It's usually at the
Doctor's discretion.
The doctor's discretion as to when they can come back and if they can come back, and then if they can't, then there's some kind of way of getting their retirement or a medical retirement or whatever else it might be. So, having said that, you're watching the Daily Bend with Chris Frame, and tell us a little bit about your story. Kind of the whole progression of what happened and kind of where we are right now.
Okay, well, I've had back problems for about a year. Well, it's been over that now, but it's been a year since I notified the fire department of it, and it was 3 months it took me to get in to see him. As soon as he saw me, he took an x-ray and said, "You're done until we get this fixed." It's basically a minor back operation that was done, and the date of my return went to September, then got moved to October, and then I got a letter from the chief saying, "We're thinking of letting you go," and which is against the law.
Yeah.
And then after my back surgery, I was still having pain, so they did facet blockers, which actually blocks the nerves in your back.
I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there that have had some
probably
back crap like that. That's a tough, painful thing. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. The surgery didn't work, but the nerve blocking did, and they fired me on December 6th, and I had my last back procedure on December 13th. And you would think that they would at least have me see a doctor or a specialist of some kind of their choosing to say if I was physically able to do the job or not, which was never done.
Correct. So what we're looking at Chris could end up owning the city, as it were. He'd like to return back to, a combat. They call it a combat type position.
Yeah, combat status.
Combat status, but there seems to be quite a bit of shenanigans going on, and kind of maybe address how many firefighters have left the city of South Salt Lake's fire department in the last year.
Yeah, in the last year, there's been a mass exodus, and I believe it's close to 70.
So
which we have 60-something full-time firefighters. That's 100% turnover.
Yes.
And they're all for different reasons, but if you look at the reason that people are leaving, it's because of morale. It's in the toilet right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of the testing system is broken. You have to pat each other's back if you want to get promoted. I've never really wanted to be a captain. I got a great job being an engineer, but for every test that they do, they change their policy to come up with whoever it is that they feel that they want to promote. So it's very unfair.
One of the things on Beau'd Not Broken is I trying to unveil or kind of show some of the inequities that go on in not only government but in other places as well. When I first heard this story, when I first heard what was going on, and I had heard what was going on with other people, that's unprecedented, folks. You just don't lose. You don't lose your entire department within a year and don't realize there's something wrong going on out there. And so I'm hoping this is going to spur some looking into by either media organizations or labor organizations to look into the inequities, some of the hiring and firing practices that are going on there. Obviously, you want to return back to work, but now you're embroiled in a.
There we go.
And so my point being is that, and then my lighting goes crazy. There we go. So my point being is that you'd like to return, but you want your job back. You would like some things taken care of, and the inequity, the problem is being fired while you're on disability. If you were to do, and let's real quickly, which is really important, you were firefighter of the year last year or the year before?
The year before, 2015.
So firefighter of the year, 2015, and then last year
I got a life-saving medal.
And then this year, well, just a little while ago, you're fired. Which and you've been, through a career, through either a law enforcement or especially in a fire career, there are going to be injuries. There's going to be, especially backs, and I know a lot of firefighters with the lifting and the, all the different things, the air pack stuff. Everything's gonna. So it's nothing that's abnormal. What I'm trying to do is kind of lay the foundation. There's really it's not like you're a sissy. It's not like you're it's not like you're crying, hey, I need a year to take off. It wasn't, or 2 years. It's something that you needed to do to get healthy, right?
Right.
Exactly. And for a city to do what they've done, there are going to be lawsuits. There's going to be lawsuits from two other most likely, if there aren't already, who, correct me if I'm wrong though, but they were fired while they were on medical leave as well too, or in the process of getting.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened in their cases. That it's
their thing.
That's their thing.
But it is. I know a little bit about it. I think it is a medical, very similar to yours. Only yours is different because you like to go back. They needed to retire because of their health issues and things like that. Okay. Anything else you want to add to it? How do it's got to make you feel unwanted. I mean, all this time you've served the city, and and the other thing it brings up is the inequity in service in the city. There's no experienced EMS people, firefighter, fire service people, paramedics, things like that.
Exactly. That's why this is becoming a safety issue, is because a lot of the guys now, our experienced guys, have a chance to get out. We can't transfer like police do from our department to a different department with our seniority. We lose it. You start at the bottom at another department. Well, Draper's just starting up. They're starting their department. They want some experienced guys, and we've become basically a training center. It's a revolving door. People come to work there, and the environment is it's toxic.
Right.
It's not a brotherhood anymore. I used to look forward to going to work, and now I hate it, and so does everyone there. And there's a problem. If you're a firefighter, get the job of your dreams, and hate going to work, there's a problem.
Yeah, and what is that? How does that relate into the community when you're trying to save lives and do the best job you can?
Yeah, the taxpayers, do they know that they're going to get a 3-year medic now because everyone else is gone that has experience? They totally discount experience there. The only thing seniority counts for is your vacation. It's sad.
What would you like to see? I know we've talked about before, but you'd like to go back to combat. You'd like to make sure that the city would, obviously, and we can't talk about, things like that, but you want them to say they're sorry in a sense and get you back to work and make sure that you're continuing to make because now you're not retired. You're just in limbo. You've been fired, and
I haven't been this poor ever. We made our house payment today, and it might be our last one.
Right, and that's sad. And I wouldn't bring this to you if I didn't think that this was something that was valuable for either the media or anybody out there who would like to pick it up, because there is a story here. There is a real big story that is not only with Chris, but it's systemic within that fire department. And I will tell you, it's systemic in that city right now. It's a very caustic place.
It is.
There are a lot of questionable things that have gone on there. And I hope that, again, somebody will pick it up and run with it. It's really interesting that nobody has yet, but maybe this will help and be a catalyst.
The biggest thing for me that was apparent of our chief, I don't believe, caring for our department is I appealed my hearing on a back problem, and it was never even brought up in court. I have it all on tape, everything, that they just destroyed my character, my career, my morality. It was hard to sit there and take. I was ready to punch somebody in the nose when it was over with. But I have the tape. I need it transcripted, and I can tell you that there's some pretty bad things that the chief said.
Saying about someone that got a medal and the firefighter of the year before. I mean, it's not like it was 10 years ago, folks. You got to realize in government, especially with the government personnel and hiring, you just can't fire somebody because they're hurt, and you just can't fire somebody based on, I mean, if you look back at their career and they have a stellar career and nothing else goes on, it's a negligence on their part that,
It is. I mean, I've got some things that I've done in the past I'm not proud of, but I'm human.
Every
I'm
employee
perfect.
does.
Yeah, most everybody does. But it's a career that I love. I miss the guys. I miss the brotherhood of having each other's back.
Right.
And it seems like the head of the department has turned us against each other, and like I said, it's just a toxic. It's not. It's terrible. It's never been this bad ever in the history of the department.
A very proud history. The South Salt Lake Fire Department has fought some of the biggest fires that have been in the valley.
Yes, I pumped on a lot of
them. and not to glamorize fires, but they really have some of the greatest losses of property and damage, plus the high service area of South Salt Lake, paramedic-wise,
yeah, we're one of the
service-wise.
busiest departments in the valley.
Yeah, even
we get the worst of the worst.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, Bo.
I know we had to be kind of general, and I've got your back. We got your back, and if this doesn't spur a little bit more too, like I've told you, I've had some people approach me from the media. We're going to keep this thing rolling because something's got to get out.
Yeah,
it's got to get out.
Even if I don't go back, I want the atmosphere there to change. I'm not out to get anyone. I'm not out to hang anybody. I'm just saying there's a problem, and they believe that it's because people don't want to work on the ambulance, and that's a bunch of bull crap, Chief. You know that. Because other fire departments run ambulance services and don't go through 100% turnover in a year.
Right. And again, he's not the only one. So there are other people. There's a pattern here that needs to be stopped. And so anyway, thanks for joining us today. We're going to check back with him pretty soon in a couple weeks. Thanks for being on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. And, if you know anything about this whole subject too out there, let us know. Please do. Have a great day, and remember that life's all about the bend.